how the mighty fallen, standing in the gap, God is calling. Big shoes to fill, big giants to kill. Lord, send me to do your will.
Hey folks, my name is Jonny Ardavanis and welcome to Dial In. I wanted to hop on here today and talk about just my gratitude for the life and ministry of John MacArthur. I loved John MacArthur, and he has had probably over anyone other than my dad the greatest influence on my life. When I think about his life and ministry, I think of four words probably in particular: that he was bold, he was faithful, he was kind, and he was gracious.
Standing in the gap, God is calling.
In 2020, when COVID hit, I started this podcast. If you know the story, I was like shut down in my cabin. No one could do anything. It was like 15 days to slow the spread. And I started teaching through the Gospel of John on Dial In because there was nothing else to do. And I just wanted to kind of force myself to study. And after maybe a few of those episodes, I got a text from an unknown number that said, "Hey, Johnny, let's talk life and ministry." And I said, "Who's this?" And I got a response that said, "John MacArthur." And I thought someone was messing with me. Even though I had known him and I'm really good friends with his grandsons, it was definitely not I was not on a level where I expected him to text me. And I said, "Of course, would love that." And I said, "Hey," he said, "Do you have any time to hop on the phone today at 3:00? I was just looking through my text messages with him yesterday, and we talked for an hour. And the next week he said, "Hey, would love to have you come down, drive down from Hume Lake to Santa Clarita. I'll spend the day with you." And I spent time with him. We drove around, we talked life and ministry. He asked me how I prepared sermons. And I said, "Listen, I want to be a preacher. Is this the okay way to do it?" And he was like, "Well, what's your process?" And we talked about that for a while, and he was really encouraging. I drove back up to Hume Lake. I kind of had driven down and then drove back up that same day. And then the next day he said, "Hey, I would love to spend more time." And he was always so kind and said, "I'm so sorry to even ask you to make the drive again, but would love to spend some more time together." And I was like, "Of course." And I drove back down, and that's when the conversation began about working at the Master's University. And he said, "Hey, would love for you to be here and for us to be able to spend some time together." And it was just a no-brainer.
Who's going to take up the mantle? In the younger generation, where are our prominent leaders who are going to take on what they did and stand boldly for God's word and proclaim the truth of God's word in the gospel? Now, I know there's a lot of younger generation pastors and Bible teachers out there, but we really do need to take on the mantle of these greats that have gone before us. I'm reminded of what we read in Isaiah 6, verse 8. "And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send? And who will go for us?" Who is going to go out there and do this? Who are going to be the next generation of prominent Christian leaders, faithfully teaching God's word, standing for Him? And the rest of the verse says, "Then I said, Here am I, send me."
Oh, how the mighty fallen, standing in the gap, God is calling. Big shoes to fill, big giants to kill. Lord, send me to do